Hello and welcome to ADHD, my sister and me, um, where myself, Kim, and my sister Nicola talk about all things ADHD related, and yeah, just share a bit of our experience and insights, and basically it's an excuse for us to have a chat as well. And Nicola just told me, right, you're doing the intro today. So I was like, oh, okay. Um,
And
so
then I
that's my intro.
did you a Wayne's World style countdown as well, just to get you.
You did.
And only because I was going to sing, and you didn't look very impressed that I was going to sing.
I think I'm just a bit dazed and confused this morning, that's all.
But it's lovely to be back.
If you wanna do a bit of Eminem rapping, you go for it, girl.
I'll see if it comes out later. I'll just go with it.
Okay. So, what you drinking?
Coffee,
Ah, same.
lovely one that you recommended.
Four Sigmatic.
Lovely mushrooms. Not like
Yeah.
not you know.
Yeah, Four
Um,
Sigmatic is a it's like an organic mushroom based coffee. Um, it's really delicious and it doesn't seem to give me the jitters, the coffee jitters. So if you're someone who's super sensitive to coffee and can only manage like one or two a day, I would really recommend Four Sigmatic.
Very nice. Right. So we haven't done a podcast for we couldn't even remember how long, could we?
No,
Like
it's months, isn't it?
months, yeah.
Mm.
So I bet you were thinking, oh, ADHD, they've done it, they're not gonna, they've given up, but we haven't given up. We just had a sabbatical.
We did. And I think we tried to come back a few times, but just couldn't make it. We couldn't fit it in around life, I guess. It's hard to find the space, isn't it?
Yeah, especially over the summer with kids off of school and just it was really, really busy, wasn't it? I mean, I guess it always is at that time of year, but the end of the summer term and then the holidays and entertaining the kids and it's hard to find time for anything really, isn't it? Yeah. And you can often become very burnt out. And that's our topic for the day. Me and Kim have been struggling with burnout quite a lot, haven't we? On and off, and exhaustion. And we do tend to struggle with our energy levels, don't we? And we
Hmm.
really need to have processes in place to preserve our energy and know when to stop and rest. Otherwise, we can then become very burnt out and quite ill as well, really. So,
Hmm. I think as when you are also a parent to neurodiverse children, it's very common. Burnout is really common because, and not just neuro parents, all parents and all people. But I think um, I ended up burnt out in the first week of term, which never happens. Usually, I'm quite on it with things and I'm looking forward to the organization and structure. But in the last couple of weeks of the holidays, I had so many forms that I had to fill out for both my children, for EHCPs and assessments and all these things. And you pretty much end up repeating yourself. So you can copy and paste, but it's just they're all quite big things. So I think by the time September came, I was just done, and I got really ill, um, and I just couldn't do anything, which is frustrating. Um, but I guess that's when you really need to listen to yourself and your body and really tune into your own needs.
absolutely. And I very similar feel didn't feel rested over the summer at all. And I know that it's hard to feel rested with young children anyway, but I feel like it was worse this year. And I just came back into September feeling exhausted when I normally would have, I think, would have been a bit, more organized and um, I don't know. I just, yeah. And a lot of people I've spoke to have said the same. They just didn't feel rested at all. And so you're straight back into it. And then we've got the turn of the seasons and um, all the kids back together. And there's lots of buggies going about, isn't there? And so you're fighting that off. And we literally went straight back in. We had beaver camp, then we had cub camp, then we had, it's just, yeah, it's been really full on. So we're all a bit cream crackered. And yeah, so we thought burnout was the perfect topic really today.
Mm.
And as I say, we are a lot better now, aren't we, Kim, at recognizing the signs of when things are getting too much
Hmm.
and how to try and slow down a little bit to
Yeah, I
prevent.
think, oh, sorry.
On.
I was thinking, prevention rather than cure, but actually, when burnout's on the way, there's really not a lot you can do. Like, I can feel my adrenals drained, and it's like, and I can feel it's like once I'm there, and there's no amount of looking after myself is going to bring me out. It's just about seeing it through and trying to look after myself during the process. Do you find that? Do you find like it creeps up on you, or do you
Yeah,
reckon
I think
you're
I it's usually I can recognize the signs a lot better now. I find it a lot easier to say no to things now. And you know, um I can stop without the guilt and without, and say, no, I can't do this. It's too much now. Because I know how ill I can then get if I keep pushing and pushing like I've done in the past. So yeah, I'm a lot better at recognizing and um, not people pleasing to the point of to the detriment of your own well-being. And it's if I don't stop when I need to stop or at least slow down, then I do get ill. I pick up all anything that's going around and it can absolutely wallop me. And then it's your body, isn't it? It's your body saying, right, you need to stop. And if you don't, something just comes along that absolutely floors you and makes you stop anyway. And I hate feeling ill. I can't bear it. So yeah, much better now at stopping before I get to that point, but it still catches me sometimes.
hmm
Yeah, so we were sort of having a chat. We were going to do like a top 10 things today, and but then when I was having a think about it, we're going with stop right now. So SRN, stop right now. So it's when you're noticing those signs that you're getting exhausted, it's all getting too much, you need to slow down or you're going to burn out or become unwell. So stop, S. So he said strip it back. So it's about trying to slow down and trying to do the bare minimum that you need to do. So much like when we've talked about before, when we're on day one of their cycle, when you need to, that is the time when you need to strip it back as much as possible on those early days. So yeah, but it's trying to let go of anything that you don't really need to do. Let go of the people pleasing and just be trying to learn to say no a little bit more. Yeah, so prioritizing, isn't it? It's about prioritizing. So, you can do that by writing a list or just going over it mentally. But it's sometimes it is good to get it down and perhaps write a list of what you need to do or do it on your phone and then put it in order of priority. And then the things that you absolutely have to do, then go ahead and get them done and ticked off. But the things that you don't really need to do, leave it there in the to-do pile and come back to it when you've got a little bit more energy. And yeah, so and it's a good thing to practice doing anyway. I've got and we talked about it before, haven't we? I've got my little book where I try and write down what I need to do and put them in order of priority. And it's really helpful. So yeah, so you're just doing what you need to do. And letting people know as well. So letting the people who are close to it's all communication is key, isn't it? So just saying, I'm feeling the signs of burnout. I'm absolutely exhausted. I'm not feeling great. I need to slow down now. And even if they don't understand that, just communicating that to them and being true to yourself. We in society we've been brought up, haven't we, to just push and push and push ourselves
And
until
generally not reach out for help as well. So just, ask for help, ask friends, ask family. Is something else we find really difficult to do, isn't it? We're okay giving. And I say we, I'm talking about me and you here, Nick, but so many people are the same, that we give, 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 but actually find it quite hard to receive. Um, so yeah.
definitely.
Also, you could, just looking, if you have a calendar or a diary, looking at the calendar and just like you saying, prioritizing. Is there anything that you can take off? Is there anything you can think, okay, I can rearrange that for next month? Um, and it's not about letting people down. It's about just for once putting yourself at the top of that list, isn't it?
We always say, don't we, that we spend our lives looking after everyone around us, our loved ones, our colleagues, co-workers, children, parents, friends, neighbours. And if you don't look after yourself and fill your own cup up, fill your own well, then how are you going to be able to carry on doing all the other things you do?
Hmm.
Yeah. So that was the strip it back. R. R is for rest. And, you know, rest in whatever way is good for you. Sleep is a biggie for me. Getting my Z's in, um, and but also meditation, relaxation practices, doing sweet FA, sweet nothing, and yeah, just rest, rest, rest. How do you rest, Kim?
How do I rest? Um, so I try to, if the day allows it, around maybe 2, 3 o'clock, I will just lay down wherever I can. So on my bed, in my armchair, makes me sound really old, or in the garden, and I will just lying in Shavasana, which is it's the end. Usually the we finish with it in yoga. It's the end pose in yoga, but actually it's a whole practice in itself. And so I just allow myself to go into really deep relaxation, and then kind of end up in that in-betweeny state. So I'm aware, I'm not asleep, um, but my body is like completely relaxed, um, and my mind is quiet. And sometimes, you might pop into the odd other realm, which is always fun. But if you're not a yogi or a meditator, then just a nap, a nana nap.
Oh, nana naps are the
10
best.
minute, 10 minutes. I always find if I have a sleep in the afternoon, if I have too much, I wake up absolutely miserable and I just can't seem to get out of the grumps. So I think for me, like a 10-15 minute nana nap is perfect. But I think other people have longer and seem to wake up okay. So whatever works for you.
Just don't forget to set an alarm if you've got to do the school run.
Yeah, and yesterday you had a really long relaxation, didn't you?
Oh,
Which
it was
which I
amazing. Yeah.
accidentally woke you from. But why was that?
Thank goodness you did, because I would have gone on and on. Well, um, my friend Lennis, who is a chopra meditation teacher with me, she did the monthly chopra meditation session for everyone. And so I watched it on catch up, and I was really sort of deep, and I was in and out, and I was sort of a little bit dreamy at times, but I don't really felt like I slept, but it was more sort of in and out of different realms. No, I'm just saying that because I like the word realm. But just I was just somewhere, totally somewhere else, completely somewhere else. And then I was sort of thinking, oh, this is really going on a long time. They must have extended the time with the chopra meditations. And then yeah, eventually, sort of an hour and a half later, Kim rang, and I was a bit like, oh, a bit spacey, wasn't I?
Hmm.
And then I realised that yeah, an hour and a half had gone by and the computer had paused. So I was with dear Lennis for all that time in her beautiful bubble of um, otherworldly meditation, and the computer paused. But it
It
was
was
amazing. It was wonderful. I needed it, and
it
I
was
didn't
meant to
feel
be.
it didn't feel like a groggy sleep. It felt like I was, yeah, just really deep in meditation, and it was wonderful. And I obviously needed that. But yeah, and you can't. Oh, nana naps are underrated. I mean, they're just the best. And learning to do that guilt free. A lot of people, probably a lot of people with ADHD as well, you just need that reset, don't you, in the day? And so, yeah, if I'm exhausted, I'll have a, yeah, 20 minutes, or sometimes, I'll do a meditation in the afternoon and I will nod off after. But that's why always do set my alarm so I don't miss the school run. But it's just, you know, sometimes you just need that extra sleep, and just let go of the guilt, because some people have got lots of energy in life and some people haven't. And that's just one of those things. It's not your fault if you don't have a lot of energy, and if you need a
Mhm.
little power nap to get through the last part of the day. They say 20 minutes, don't they, is good. But I
Mhm.
think it, like you say, it's so individual, isn't it? You've got to find what works for you.
Yeah, and obviously if you are someone who is out at work, in an office or, like working out of home, that's going to be very difficult. But I'm wondering if there's, what would that look like for someone who's so for your husband, Nick, what would Dickie do if he's at work in the office all day, and he's sort of needing
Well, he
minutes back?
he meditates on the train usually
Hmm.
going in. That's his time that he does
Okay, so
that.
yeah, that's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah,
The travel, if you're not driving, if you're able to. Um,
and then yeah, at lunchtime he goes and has a walk out. He's in London, and he's in a beautiful grounds with grass and trees and flowers, and it's lovely. And he'll go
yeah,
and have a wander out there and give me a FaceTime. And um yeah, but if you get an hour's lunch break, can you find somewhere quiet where you can just close your eyes for a little while and just rest?
mm,
Like, Kim, you've always for years, haven't you, just laid in Shavasana.
hmm,
And I love that. That's your little thing,
keeps
isn't it?
me
That you
young.
really, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So, but that's it. So just let go of the guilt, like life can be challenging enough as it is without you putting guilt on yourself. Just look at yourself, that you're filling up your cup when your battery's low,
Mm,
or when your cup's empty, you're filling yourself up so that you can then carry on again. So imagine it's like your phone, you're plugging yourself into recharge, and you're just letting that, you can't, if your phone's died and you go and plug it in, you can't rush it, can you? You've got to plug it in and wait for it. So just plug yourself in and just wait for yourself to fill up.
yeah, and I,
Rest.
I do know people who will miss lunch breaks because they've got so much work to do. So I think you have to be quite firm with yourself as well, quite strict. So you're not missing that time. You're being given a lunch break by your employer. You have to take it.
And people don't usually thank you for being a martyr and powering on through, and it's normally just at the detriment of your own
Mm.
being, isn't it?
Hmm.
And obviously, in some jobs, nursing and other jobs like that, where you can't, where you often don't have a break, um, you know, you're going to need to find that time somewhere
After that,
else, aren't
yeah.
you? So, whether that's if you're an early bird and you get there 10 minutes early, just doing a deep, there's we always talk about the app Insight Timer, and there's some brilliant free, so many. You have access to thousands of worldwide meditation teachers, and there's some wonderful things on there. And sometimes when I've felt very depleted and I've needed to re-energize, there's some lovely meditations to help you re-energize on that. And there's breathing practices that you can do that can bring your energy levels back up if you need to until then.
Mhm.
But then when you get home after your shift, make sure that is when you give yourself the rest. So you just need to fit it in however you can.
Yeah.
Strip it back and fit in that rest. It's so important that, the sleep, our deep sleep is when our body's repairing itself. And it's so important.
I might share as well a couple of teachers on Insight Timer who I've been listening to lately, who I just am completely in love with. Well, their voices anyway, and they've got such a range. There's a meditation for everything, um, and even like morning affirmations, just having that bit of sort of positivity going in while you're on your way to work or school run or yeah.
And you were going to say about the 1% rule when we jump going back to sorry, I dropped my phone. Go.
Ah.
Like a Ribena bear or something. Um, stripping it back, you were going to say about the 1%.
Yeah, so the 1% rule comes from the teachings of Red School. You may have read their books, Wild Power and Wise Power. And if you haven't, I would thoroughly recommend. Red School are an amazing organization. Um, and I think I mentioned on one of our previous podcasts that I did their menstruality leadership training this year, which enables me to be a menstruality mentor with Red School. So that's really cool. Um, but in their book Wild Power, they talk about the 1% rule. So if you are bleeding, menstruating, and you're finding life really busy and you're finding it really difficult to find that rest, rest is so important when you're bleeding. But if you can't take that rest, then can you take 1%? So that 1% of rest, taking care of yourself. Um, and this doesn't have to be just for your time of bleeding. This could be any time of the month or any person. So if you can't take that time for yourself, could you take 1%? And Nicola, I was going to ask you if what would 1% look like to you if you were really struggling to find that time for yourself? What could you do that's really small, maybe, but is going to give you something to, you know.
So if I was feeling well in myself, the 1% would be I would meditate. If, for example, I was on day one of my cycle, I would do the same thing, but make sure I was resting as well. So the rest would be really important for me. But generally, if I'm if I'm struggling, the 1% for me would be meditation, and I or some form of mindfulness. So often on the school run, if I'm rushing from one place to another, that's my time on the school run where on the way home, when I'm by myself, I will just um, invite Reiki in, and like a shower of Reiki, I'll imagine that cleansing away any negativity, any toxins, any fatigue, anything that's not for my highest good. So I'll just let that shower over and take away anything negative. And then that Reiki will then fill me up with light and love and positivity. And I'll also imagine a bubble of protection around myself as well that pushes out anything negative and lets only love and light in. So I'm fit. So I'm letting go of anything. I'm cleansing. And then I'm filling myself up with sort. And if you're not Reiki attuned, you can just imagine it. Heavenly light, source light, or earth chi, whatever you want to imagine. Just divine light, or whatever resonates with you. You just imagine filling yourself up, letting go of anything negative, filling yourself up, and then protecting yourself. And and also, oh yeah, well, I won't go too woo woo on your ass.
You can go
Um,
with.
hmm?
I was just thinking when, as you were saying that, it could be a shower where you're a cleansing shower. So going in the shower and imagining that all the water is just washing away all of your stresses and worries. Or if you've got a little bit longer, maybe a bath with salts and essential oils and candles. Like, yeah. So
Yeah.
the
So that's the 1% that you wanted to talk about.
Mhm.
And then the N, stop right now. The N, stop right now. Thank you,
Thank
thank
you
you.
very much. Need some, but sorry, come
Spice Girls.
on.
The N is nourish. So nourishment, looking after yourself with nourishing things, nourishing practices. So like you were saying about the salt bath, gentle walk, time in nature, just nourish yourself. So you're stripping everything back, you're resting, and then you're nourishing yourself. So all the things that nourish yourself, and um spending time with loved ones in meditation, in shavasana, relaxation, all of that goodness. So what do you absolutely love doing, and spend some time doing that to nourish yourself. And if you're I mean, yeah, just it can be anything, can't it, Kim? Like,
Mhm. I like to sit on my bed sometimes before I go to sleep and do a little bit of seated yoga. Um, because I haven't got a lot of space in my room, I can't really get a mat out, but I can sit on my bed and do some nightly bed yoga. And also just making small, manageable changes. So I think sometimes we try to change everything all at once, don't we? And think, Nick, you were talking about this a bit the other day about giving up all of the crutches at the same time, which can be so hard. So maybe just changing little things. So I've recently changed my morning coffee to honey, lemon, and ginger, which I found quite hard because I love my coffee in the morning, but I just felt like it probably wasn't the healthiest choice. And I know they say you shouldn't have coffee for about an hour, but I can't back that up because I can't remember the reasons. Do you know why?
well, I don't really know, but I guess it's a stimulant, isn't it? And it's,
Yeah,
are you kind of almost shocking yourself into,
yeah.
whereas
So
lemon and ginger is like a natural detoxer, isn't it? Like a natural cleanser. So
yeah,
so it's really nourishing,
cleansing
and
for the liver.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I guess you're waking your body up gently, aren't you?
And I don't know, should you have a stimulant like coffee on an empty stomach? Is that going to make your digestion? I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah. Um,
Yeah. But that's
yeah.
a really small change that I've that I've managed, and I just feel like I'm looking after myself a little better.
And yeah, so it's just finding what you love, what nourishes you. And as I said, as we said before, communicate with the people around you and tell them that you need to rest. And if they don't understand, that's their problem. And we need to try to stop people pleasing so much and and look after ourselves so that we can look after other people. And I know
It's a
it's hard.
lifelong, what's the word I'm looking for?
Process.
Practice.
Practice, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially
Yeah.
with people that have RSD, rejection sensitive dysphoria, you don't want to upset people. You don't want people to think badly of you, so you just keep going and going and going, but then it's at the detriment to your well-being. So, and it's important to to communicate with people, and you often find that the people that you live with might not understand it to start with, but in my experience, they do come to understand it, and then to actually see in themselves as well that actually they need to do the same. So
Your kids are great, aren't they? Because isn't it is it your little one will say, "It's all right, mummy, you're on day 3" or something. He'll
he came in the other day. I think I was doing a meditation. He went, oh, it's all right, mummy, you're on day 3. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not doing it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're on day 3.
love that.
They both came and gave me a foot rub the other day. We all find it hard to get up in the morning, especially at the moment. We're just all shattered. So they came in and gave me a little foot rub the other day.
Oh,
And we've got this lovely lavender that my friend Suzanne recommended to help with the boys if they were feeling a bit anxious at night. Dr. Hauschka or something.
gosh.
Hauschka for sure. But it's beautiful. So we'll sometimes put some lavender on their feet at night. They absolutely love it. Oh, mummy, can we have? So they're returning the favour. Bless them.
Hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, shall we? I think that's not bad going for our first poddy back after months of
Clearly, we've missed it. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
a lot to say.
Yeah, so we'll definitely be back more regularly doing this. If you do the traditional quote from my
Go
book,
for it.
um, a secret to happiness is letting every situation be what it is instead of what you think it should be. And
Oh,
little let it be. Have you seen that?
do you know what? I really needed to hear that today as well.
And it's, sometimes I'll be doing a meditation. I'm like, oh, the living room's not right. That's not right. That's not right. And then I think of something that our dear friend Ron said that everything is just as it needs to be. You don't
Mm.
need to move anything. You don't need to do anything. Everything is just as it is. And sometimes I need to think of that. And it is just let it be. It's fine. Just let it, let it be. And yeah,
I think I told you. I think have I spoke to you since yesterday? I must have.
I not know.
Um, so my youngest went for a visit at a specialist school for autism, and in the afternoon I called the school for feedback, and they basically said that they thought he wasn't ready for their school, and that they couldn't meet needs. Um, and I got off the phone and I just burst into tears and I just cried and cried. And then I don't think, I mean, obviously it's frustrating. It's like a door being closed, and it's one that I thought might be the answer for him. But the more I thought about it into the evening, I just thought, what, like, why am I disappointed here? Because right now in life, he's probably the happiest he's ever been. He he tells me all the time that, he learned nothing in school. Everything he's learned has been from his way of learning. And it's true. And my goodness, he knows so much. Like I'm always asking him, oh, what does that mean? What's this? And And I thought, am I trying to get him into school so it fits better in with my life, or because it's the best thing for him? And I think I answered my own question, really. And so that quote, yeah, it really resonates today. Let it be. And maybe
Yeah.
school's not going to be the answer for him, and that's okay.
Mm. And he's certainly a very much happier little chap, isn't he,
Mm.
now?
Yeah.
What does he say when he comes in the door after? Hi, mummy. How are you? What does he say when you say hi?
Um, I don't know.
I'm wonderful. It's just like when I hear him when I speak to him on the phone, he's just so happy and content.
Yeah, when he comes in and oh, how was your day? Oh, it was amazing, or it was great. Um, yeah, he's always so happy. And this is an alternative provision provided uh through the LA, the local authority. Um, but yeah, I think it's sometimes we want to have that control of knowing what's ahead, when actually I know that no one knows. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, do we? So, yeah.
It's just reminded me of another quote, actually. I'm trying to think who said it. Except something like let go of what was, accept what is, and have faith in what will be.
Mm. Yeah, it's the sort of thing you need up on the wall to look at every day, isn't it? Just as a little
I'm just having a
reminder.
little look to see who, so I can say where the quote comes from, but I can't see. But I'll pop it in the show notes if I can find that. Anywho,
Yeah. Well, if you've
um,
made it to the end, well done, because
yeah,
we've been gassing today, haven't
yeah,
we?
high five. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. Lovely to be here, spend time with you as always. And you, Minnie Moon.
Yeah, and you.
Sending love to everyone, and just remember to look after yourselves. Recognize those signs when you're getting depleted and fill yourself up with rest and nourishment.
And don't feel bad about it.
Absolutely.
Don't feel bad about putting you at the top of your list for once.
See you next time. Love, love, love.
Bye.